So Rob, I'm sure you're going to have a lot of listeners and viewers that are interested in this, that think it's affordable. The website is chatconversions.com, but you guys have a program going on. You're looking for 3 slots. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the HighLevel Spotlight Sessions, where we showcase awesome marketers doing awesome marketing. Today, I'm joined by Rob Turley. He's the Chief Revenue Operations Officer of ChatConversions, also known as the Rev Ops Hitman. Rob, thanks so much for coming on the show.
That was an awesome introduction. I really appreciate it. And yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. And if anybody's curious, I did not pick that name. It was given to me by GTM Magazine, and it just kind of stuck. So even started an independent agency with the name because it's nice and fun. People go, well, what is that type of a thing? But really, it's because I'm ruthless when it comes to problem solving and pinpointing things within business that disable unity. And ultimately, my job is to unify sales, marketing, customer success, product engineering, and all divisions with the company so they're no longer divided. So how do you generate revenue? Build a data-driven process that is client-centric. So everything is centered around the customer, which as marketers, everybody watching this, that is priority number one.
Yeah, RevOps is definitely a new term that we're hearing more and more. And it was interesting earlier this year when we were talking about hiring some different positions. RevOps came up, and I was like, well, are we going to call it RevOps, or are we going to call it this or that? And I was like, what is this RevOps? Like, how do you actually define that? I'd be curious to hear how you actually define RevOps.
Sure. I actually favor my definition over many others. HubSpot was a good definition that they came up with, which is shocking because HubSpot wouldn't know what RevOps was if it hit them in the face at 1,000 miles per hour because they don't practice it. Okay. No naysay toward HubSpot. I love their technology. I love their platform. So that's not like a punch to their face. It's just a truth. I'm pretty very direct, and that's probably why I got the nickname. But my definition of revenue operations, RevOps, is the de-siloing of a business, meaning companies are divided into divisions. So what RevOps is that it is de-siloing those divisions, having the entire team across all of those divisions starting to work together using data and communication. So communication at the meta and at the people level within their operations to optimize them and create a unified force to generate and drive revenue, protect yourself from churn, and ultimately create a client-centric experience. So instead of reducing costs through cost reduction methods, which usually results in the sacrifice to the customer service level or a sacrifice in product quality, why not improve that experience and that quality while reducing costs? Because when you optimize a process, you're taking away all of the inefficiencies. And instead of becoming more efficient, you're becoming more effective. And in turn, it becomes more efficient. So it's that nice exponential effect of really improving something so that it becomes more cost effective and a better outcome for the customer.
Interesting. I like de-siloed. That makes sense. Well, today we're talking about chat. And I love this conversation because the HighLevel chat widget is just a gateway into an SMS conversation. And when we pitch it, we're typically saying, live chat is typically not a great experience because how many of you have entered in a message and then you get we typically reply in 6 hours, and you're like, well, obviously I'm not going to sit on this website for 6 hours.
Not all too live.
So that's right. So that's how we position our chat widget as, hey, we can decouple the user from the site. But I have always said there is no better experience than when there actually is somebody there to instantly chat with you on the site. Now that for most businesses is sort of a pipe dream, right? Like an owner might think that his staff has the time to actually be available to live chat with people. But, if you're not using a support network or company to do it, in my opinion, it's not really feasible. So you guys are doing just that, right? You are powering
and making it affordable, which is our IP around it. Because if you try to outsource it to India or something, you'd be paying $1,700 to $2,000 per agent. And you need, if you want 24/7 coverage, which is usually what's necessary, 3 agents per shift minimum, 3 shifts per day. And then 7 shifts or 7 groupings of those 3 shifts per week. And so for weekend staff as well, that'll cost you anywhere between $23,000 to $27,000 a month, no matter what your website volume is. Now, how do we make it affordable to small businesses? Well, it's because you could think of it as almost an agent timeshare. You know what a timeshare is with like real estate? It's like a timeshare, but for chat agents. So we have all of our experts, hundreds of them, and then we assign them to specific websites. So if you have a small amount of traffic, let's say an agent's only getting 3 to 5 chats per day per customer. That's not that much, but a bunch could come in at once. That's why you need multiple agents, because if 4 come in at the same time, you need 3 people to handle those 4. So what this does is that since it's such low volume, these agents need to be busy all day during their shift. So we split them amongst, let's say, 10, maybe 15 different websites of different companies that have low traffic. So then that cost gets split amongst all of those companies as a shared cost. We get great pricing because we hire so many agents that the cost is much lower for us because it's an extremely high volume. Therefore, we're able to make it a very small cost to small businesses. Like our lowest plan, I think, is $375 a month for 24/7 coverage. But what you were saying, the struggle is that smaller businesses, it's either a pipe dream, yes, or the issue is that they try to implement like something like a Drift or an Intercom or a HubSpot live chat, whatever it is that you use, and they dump it on their sales team. Once they do that, their sales team is full function. They're prospecting, they're making phone calls, they're in meetings all day. The problem is, and why a lot of people who have used chat thinks it doesn't work, is that they get a bunch of leads that come onto their website, they chat them, and then when they respond, they never get a response ever again. And then the person abandons the website. Why? Because the gold zone for a chat response is it's almost guaranteed that they will ghost you every time unless you can answer in under 45 seconds. When you have someone like us, we answer in an average of about 17 seconds, better than the gold zone. At most 38 seconds is how long it takes for us to answer.
That's a really interesting statistic.
Yeah. It's
and it makes total sense, right? Like if you've ever gone to a site and taken the time to enter your name, maybe your phone number, your email, and your message, you know that you are, when you get a thing back that says we typically reply in 2 hours, you're immediately out, right?
Also,
like you go on
a lot of people will avoid that because if it's asking for your name, your phone number, your email, you're filling out a lead capture form. And then when it's not in real time chat, they literally just gave you their information. And then they're going to be like, oh, well, shit, now I'm going to get a bunch of marketing emails and be annoyed. I don't even know who these people are. Don't ask for something until you've given something. That's the number one rule of selling. You must give before you get. So with our chat agents, the way we do it is that they type in their question. They can ask us whatever. We answer it. We provide value first. Then we ask for their contact information. In case we get disconnected, can I get your name, your phone number, your email address, and the business that you're with? Oh, yeah, for sure. Then they're happy to give it to you. You give, then you get. We have the conversation. We're able to qualify or disqualify them. Or handle, if it's like a support request, we can create a ticket on behalf of their support team so they can handle that, and it's instantaneous. So to de-escalate the situation, but we mainly focus on selling. Once we capture that information, we take the transcript and we send that out to the person who's leveraging our service. Then the salespeople on their team can now reach out to them to the proper information, or we can even share a meeting link. We even offer a supplement to our service where we can set meetings on the sales team's behalf directly on calendars on behalf of the client. So that it could be full cycle like that. And then boom, qualified meetings or qualified leads sitting in the inbox. And you know exactly what they talked about, what questions they had, what they're looking for, and if they're qualified right in front of you. So the salesperson doesn't have to restart the conversation. They have full context at the start.
Got it. Cool. So let's come back to that in a second. I want to double back to that stat. 45 seconds is sort of the drop off, the cliff when it comes to response time for a live chat. What is the stat on the flip side? If you are able to engage in less than 45 seconds, what does that do for a website's conversion rate?
Okay, so I've got some Forrester stats, that I've memorized I could bring to the table here. Is that they are 3.5 times more likely to buy if they have a positive chat experience, which 97.6% of people do. Okay, that's our stat on that. But 3.5 times more likely to buy. If it's an e-commerce site, they will spend approximately 60% more per transaction on average.
Wow.
Yes. and they are 3 times more likely to convert. So if they convert, they're 3.5 times more likely to buy if they're a qualified lead, right? So that stacks that statistic. So it's really, really cool. And then another stat is 47.6% of people believe that having a live chat on a site for a buyer's journey experience, so buyers out there, B2B and B2C, believe, so about 50% of them believe that it is the most important aspect on a site during their buyer's experience to feel comfortable with the company that they're talking to, so they could speak to a real human being up front. And that's why chat bots do not fulfill this, because all it does is send them links to a knowledge base and ends up pissing people off.
Chatbots are the worst, right? Because it's funny, even after having hit hundreds or whatever, thousands of websites in my life where I get we typically reply in 6 hours thing, I'm still excited when I see the widget, because the hope is still there that there could be a live person on the other end.
It's
but
the facade.
But it's even that's even worse than the 6 hours thing, because it's just like, no, human, please.
Yeah, it's like, when everybody always talks about they get pissed off when they call, let's say like a company's phone number, and then it just takes you to the robot and it keeps asking you questions and it putting you through a freaking loop. Think about how much that pisses you off. People think it's acceptable. I have no idea why. To put an AI, most of them aren't even AI. It's just literally patterns that they just build into it. But to put an AI or a chatbot on their site, it's the same exact thing, except in chat form. Sure. It pisses people off just as much, and nobody wants to engage with that, especially in the B2B space.
For sure. So let me go back to my previous thought, which was the sort of arbitrage that you guys have built out makes total sense. You've got folks manning chats across companies to share the cost of the folks that are doing it. Do you try to group them as far as like industry? Like, these folks work on medically related businesses, and these people specialize in real estate or whatever? Or does it not matter? Is it just like, hey, there's a standard way to do this across any business, and therefore
there is a standard process for how you have conversations with chat, the professionalism, how you speak to them, how you handle things, how many words you put in each message, all that stuff is standardized. But when it comes to the content and the criteria, we pull together an entire FAQ and info outline document of all the things about the company, about who they are, what they stand for, mission, vision, purpose, right? The value that they provide, the mission statement, or I guess the impact statement. And then from there, all the questions and answers that could be asked, we put that into a system that's keyword searchable. So then, yes, we can pretty much search a keyword, and then it will bring up any type of topics that we need, and we can leverage that accordingly. But then it also does become organic too, to have the conversational elements, so you're not stuck with anything. And then also the ability to set up a call, ask them why they need help, and really have a human conversation with someone. So it doesn't matter what industry you're in, we custom build that out to exactly what your needs are, and we study your business. So we're not limited to any of that.
Very cool. So let me ask you, and we mentioned beforehand, before we hit record, that these agents, now that you're working with folks, high-level agencies are taking that information and pumping it into HighLevel, so the agency or the user can go from there. Let me ask you, what was I just going to ask you? Oh, okay. So I'm an agency. I'm hearing this. This sounds, for the first time, actually affordable, right? $375 a month. Well, my customers could afford that, and some margin for me. I could even mark this up to, let's say, $500 a month and sell that. That seems like a very reasonable number to me.
Yes.
What are my options
we like to
as
partner with them? And the average customer for us usually spends, I think it's $625 a month if they've got decent web traffic. We do it based on volume. The number of chat sessions per month equals the cost. If you're a very small business, you're going to pay $375. If you are a larger small business, that still doesn't even matter. It's about, let's say if you get 10,000 website visitors, you're going to be spending probably about $550 a month. If you have like 20,000, $625 a month is what you'd be spending, somewhere within that region. So it's based on the traffic.
And that's very reasonable pricing. So what are my options as an agency? Am I just sort of selling the concept and then introducing them to you, or am I able to actually sell it as my own package with my own margin on top?
We offer both based on what would fit your model best. Because if you want our brand to be involved, that's a channel partnership. But then you're stuck to the pricing that we have because they can see our logo. Therefore, they can take a look on our website, see our pricing, and be like, whoa, 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 I'm overpaying for this. Can't do that. So you have to match the pricing we have. We guarantee a 20% margin, LTV, lifetime value. If you want to do a white label partnership, then we don't exist. Our logo is not tied to you in any way. You can resell it. We still guarantee a 20% margin on the regular pricing, but then you can mark it up to whatever you'd like above and beyond that.
Very cool. So you do offer a white labeled offering, which is music to high levelers' ears, as we, everything we do is white label. So that's fantastic. Now, how long have you guys been doing this?
It's been just over 2 years.
Very cool. So you guys have had this up, I ask these types of questions because I've seen many agencies try to attempt this and fail. And typically it's a very costly failure to try to spin up a quote unquote call center or whatever, chat message center, whatever you want to call it. So 2 years is a pretty good track record. How many businesses have you guys worked with?
If you were gonna fail, it would have been after the first year.
Sure.
Yeah. That's usually the lifespan. It's 12 to 18 months. If you can make it over that hump, you're pretty much good.
And how many businesses have you guys supported at this point?
Couple hundred. I couldn't give you the exact number because I don't have it on hand, but a couple hundred. Largest client we've worked with is UPS. Wow. Smallest client we've worked with is just solopreneur consultant, right? Sales consultant. So we work from any size company, from enterprise all the way down to solopreneur. But I guess our bread and butter is, small and mid-market companies. Because most enterprise level, they have their own call centers already.
Sure. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, it's a small to medium market that needs it the most, right?
Right. Because they can't afford to hire an entire team of chat agents because it's just way too expensive. It's not viable.
Sure. Of course. Now, who is this not a good fit for? Before a bunch of people flood your website because they saw the interview, is there a scenario where it's like, no, that's not going to be a good fit?
Yes, there are some scenarios. If you get no web traffic, if you have less than 500 website visitors a month, I highly recommend not working with us because you're not going to get the return on investment unless if you have that smaller traffic, but you have a very high ticket item. We have one company, they get, I think, 400 visitors a month, but every time they make a transaction, it's minimum $30,000. They only get one chat every 3 months that converts, but they're paying us $375 a month. That ROI is ridiculous. That one sale pays for our service for the next 7 years.
That's great. Well, now can we ask what is the service, or is that
it's a telecom depot company where they provide telecom to enterprise level companies, all of the hardware that they would need to buy if they were to replace their entire system.
Gotcha. That's cool. Very cool. Are there any other crazy stats you wanted to drop? I mean, before we talk about where people can go, you guys have a
for sure. I'd like to share something that this will be educational to people, but not Sure, chat helps with this. There's other solutions built around solving for this, as all these marketers will now, of course. But it's how to calculate your opportunity cost or loss via website traffic abandonment rate. So let me pull this up real quick.
So this sounds like a tool that I would use in my sales process.
Yes, sales and marketing process, because when the traffic flows in and you're doing SEO, whatever it may be, you want higher chances of each of the people who land. You also want to maximize your ad spend and stretch that as far as possible. So let's say if you have an ad experience, it takes them to a web page, have a live chat on there. So there's a real human being for them to ask questions when they're locked into a ClickFunnels page. And let's say that ClickFunnels page doesn't resonate with them just right. They're not going to buy or they're not going to convert. So usually the difference between someone staying on a site and abandoning a site is 1 to 2 burning questions left unanswered. If it's left unanswered, they go to a competitor, they buy from them because they answer it up front on their homepage, let's say, or 68% of the time, they wind up in indecision. How do we get them to not wind up in indecision? About 47% of decision makers do want a salesperson-less buyers experience nowadays because they've been spammed with so much crap because of how much noise there is in the marketplace. This delivers that, but still has the live buyer engagement quality, which is, I call it a live buyer engagement strategy. You get them literally while they're hot to trot in the middle of their real-time buyer's journey, which is a powerful element. So I'm going to share my screen with you real quick and then take you through something here. Let me, so this is really how it functions, right? You're putting all this money into, like, say Google ads, Facebook, you're doing LinkedIn outreach, SEO, blogs, content, influencers, celebrities, you name it. This is the stat for B2C, by the way. For B2B, it's worse. It's less than 1% will convert. Then our job is to capture between that 97 to 99+% and then convert them into sales leads. That's just a really basic way of looking at how a chat affects a company. But now if we're looking at this, hold on, let me pull this on over. Let me pull this in. What this is doing right here, and let me share my screen. This is from a masterclass, right? It's not a sales deck. So how to calculate your opportunity cost or loss rate. You have your average per sale dollar value times the number of monthly website visitors times a 99% abandonment rate. If you know your abandonment rate, plug that actual number in. This is just the market stat for B2B. Yeah. And then that equals your total monthly opportunity cost or loss, or at risk dollars, right? So if we move forward, let's say you have an average sale value of $500, pretty low, right? Then you have 1,000 website visitors. That is a low amount of traffic. That is not a lot. That's like the average small business, that low or micro sized business has about that much traffic, unless, with the exception of e-commerce. Then we have a 99% abandonment rate. From there, this means that the total revenue at risk, potential revenue at risk, is $495,000. That is massive for a company selling something like this. But we have to keep in perspective, and HubSpot did this work for us in their State of the Industry report. Organic traffic and SEO leads have a 14.6% conversion rate, meaning the people who come to your site, only 14.6% are qualified to buy. And that's fine. That's great. But we only capture 1%. So we take that 14.6%, this 495,000, multiply it by the number of people who are qualified. This is your actual monthly opportunity cost or loss rate in this case. So it's safe to assume about $72,270 is being left on the table. Now, if we go back to these numbers here, I can almost guarantee with that little traffic and with that average per sale dollar value, the sales team that's doing outbound is not bringing in even half of this amount of money that's missing. That's a huge amount to leave on the table. And this is how you feed the sales team further leads. Sure, we cannot reacquire all of that 72,000, but even if we improve that 99% to a 98%, you're doubling your revenue through your website. If we can improve that 99% abandonment rate to 97%, you're tripling the revenue that you're bringing in through your website. It's massive, even at small percentages. So that's exactly right. Right. So if it converts to 2 to 3x more revenue from inbound sales in that case.
Yeah. I mean, and to be honest, I would say a business doing that amount of traffic with that average transaction amount probably doesn't even have a sales team, right? There's probably the owner is the salesperson, or maybe the front desk is responsible for selling people or something like that. So
right.
I would
or
think
one of
it's
the
even more valuable.
Is like the VP of sales or something, and they do all the selling. Right.
Yeah. Meaning there's even a higher percentage of money being left on the table.
Yeah, and often companies like that, when we work with them, they have an outbound or an outsourced outbound sales team, fractional sales team, doing just basic outreach, email sequences, LinkedIn outreach, and then maybe cold calls to help bring in leads that way. But then in that turn, since people don't really want to talk to salespeople, that outreach, they're going to check out your website and do their own research, not talk to the salesperson. So there's a lot of traffic that comes to your site through that outbound who are interested in what you have to offer, but then they don't convert through your site because your site cannot effectively convert that specific type of person. How do we recapture that loss? So try to protect yourself from that $72,000 of loss.
Yeah. And I mean, another interesting thought that just popped in mind is oftentimes a website is not that great, right? And so I might be a qualified prospect who hits your site, but can't find what I'm looking for. And so I leave thinking you can't fulfill the service I need, or that you don't have the product I want, et cetera. Whereas if I can just quickly chat with someone and be like, do you guys offer this, or do you have this? And someone assures me that you do, well, then you just overcame the deficit of a poor website, which I would argue most websites are not that great even today.
Exactly. And with e-commerce too, on the flip side, for business to consumer, tons of people leave their cart full and then abandon the site. They end up not buying. It's like, never mind. I don't really know if I want it or not. When there's a human being there, Forrester did research on this too. It's just about they're 3 times more likely to check out or to be upsold. Oh, you're buying these goggles and this bathing suit? Well, this snorkel goes with it. How come you didn't get that? They just have a couple questions about the products, or they can upsell them. Oh, you don't want these goggles. You want these goggles that are $20 more, but it's worth it because of X, Y, and Z.
You know, what's funny? I am that person. I have a funny example of exactly this. When my head, for some reason, with sunglasses, the arms are always too short. So the hook, like,
oh my God, same.
Right at the top of my ear. So I have learned over the years that there's a number that sometimes is on the arm that tells you how long the arm is. And I need like a 160. Most sunglasses are 145s or 150s.
Yup. I have that same problem. That's so funny.
None of the websites that sell sunglasses tell you that number. So I always see sunglasses I like, I want, maybe I even add them to the cart. But if I can't get that answer, I don't buy them. And I remember one site had a live chat. I chatted in. They were like, hold on, let me check. And like the person actually like opened up a box and was like able to verify that they are actually 160 in length. And so I bought them. And so there's a real world example.
That's the difference right there. Hey man, if you know any sunglass companies, give us an intro, because that's a beautiful thing. I struggle with that every day and I never even thought about that.
I know. It's just funny. That reminded me of it. So Rob, I'm sure you're going to have a lot of listeners and viewers that are interested in this, that think it's affordable. The website is chatconversions.com, but you guys have a program going on. You're looking for 3 slots to fill. Is that still?
Yes, we're looking for 3 to 5, depending on, there's some pending, right? But 3 to 5 slots right now for white label or channel partners. Specifically, we prefer white label because it's more of a seamless process. You work with the client entirely like you always do. You take care of everything, and then we do all of the work on the back end and interface with you. That way, it's like closed circuit, right? Mm-hmm. The client doesn't feel like they have to pay 2 people now.
We get it. High levelers are all about white label. So
exactly. So we have that, and we're looking for at least three power partners when it comes to working with marketing agencies or lead gen agencies or even demand generation agencies to get the right people in place so that we can create a powerhouse of channel sales. And we can just bring in revenue, share that revenue, and really drive something with a joint offering,
Okay, great. And so if I'm listening and I think that's me, should I just go to the homepage? Is there a certain URL I should hit? How should I apply to be one of those 3?
Oh, for sure. So you can either say that you'd like to become a partner in the chat, or you can go to our landing page saying that you're interested in a demo, or you can simply email me. That's fine. Rob@chatconversionspro.com. So our website is chatconversions.com. My email is rob@chatconversionspro.com. You can hit me up there. You can hit me up on LinkedIn, or you can go through any conversion panel or method on our website. You can even call the 1-800 number. We don't care how you get here. We just want to partner with you. So
excellent. Awesome. Rob, well, thank you so much for coming on. Again, I think the live chat, when it is truly live chat and there is somebody there, is probably the most effective way to convert a prospect or a lead into a customer. And this pricing is honestly the most affordable I've ever seen. So
yeah, we are the most affordable out there, actually, though. And the best I've ever seen. So like a little story. It's a company that was an Amazon. What is it? They do Amazon store setup and marketing, right? They do that for clients. They use us as a provider, and then they also sell into their client base. But what it was is that on their website, it's just a specific thing that they would only get about 475 hits. I told them not to use it because I thought it was too little of traffic, but people go there for a very specific reason. People don't just wind up on that website by accident. Right. Okay. So they have very high value traffic. They were converting 1 to 2 new clients every single month through their website, through the organic traffic of people filling out a form. Mm-hmm. After they embedded us, they pay us $375 a month. That turned into, they pay us $525 a month. That turned into, instead of an average of 1 or 2, it's gone up to 26 to 36.
Wow.
Come in through the website. They talk to the chat because they have questions, because they're trying to start an Amazon store. They're not sure what to do. We answer those questions. We get them connected, set up that call, and then boom. So it's been a game changer. I think they're getting a 56x ROI monthly.
Incredible. Awesome. Well, Rob, thanks so much for coming on. I'm sure you're going to have a bunch of folks reach out wanting to be involved. Again, the website is chatconversions.com. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one.